Beverly Hills Landlord has won a lawsuit and over $1 million in damages after an NBA player trashed his house. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting story for you today, and it's coming out of Beverly Hills, California, and it has to do with this NBA player named James Harden and how a landlord sued him and won this lawsuit for all the damages that were done to his house when he rented the unit out on Airbnb. So obviously, this is an issue that you can deal with as a landlord no matter what your income level is. Okay, you have a tenant using your property, trashes the place, and then they don't expect you to come after them for the money. Well, you know what? That's exactly what happened in this situation. The landlord went after James Harden, who is a famous NBA player, and said, hey, I want money to pay for all this damage that you did. And this isn't even a recent incident. Okay, this happened, I believe, back in 2019, according to the article, which I'm going to go over here in just a minute, right? So it took this long in order to get that money back. That sucks. That absolutely sucks. Now, keep in mind, landlord who owns a mansion and is renting out to an NBA player probably wasn't hurting too bad for the money, but you know, you would think that somebody who is well-to-do would treat your property better. Not necessarily the case. This also is one of those things where I have this sort of fear of renting properties out on Airbnb because I've heard of the nightmare stories where you'll have tenants who have wild parties in your property and trash the place. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So first of all, if you rent properties out on Airbnb, if you're a host, and you have guests in your properties on Airbnb, let me know about your situation in the comments below if anyone has ever trashed one of your properties. I'm just curious to see if other landlords on here have experienced this. But anyway, let me tell you about what's happening with this NBA player. This article is coming from the OCRegister.com, and it says, landlord wins judgment against Clippers James Harden in long-running fraud case. Let's get into it. A jury has ordered James Harden to pay nearly $1 million in punitive damages and share in the payment of another $450,000 in compensatory damages in a contract dispute lawsuit related to a Beverly Hills mansion the Clippers guard leased in 2019. Plaintiff George Santopietro's long-running Los Angeles Superior Court complaint alleged that Harden paid $82,200 to stay for a week at the home, contingent on him not having more than 7 guests. But Harden had multiple parties during the lease term in which he hosted more than 15 people, and the home suffered property damage that negatively affected Santopietro's relationship with the Homeowners Association, according to the plaintiff's court papers. And I tend to side with the landlords in this sort of case because, keep in mind, right, there's probably a lot of evidence to show that what this landlord said happened is what really happened. The damages, they probably had them itemized. Okay, we're talking about a mansion here. This is not something that is going to be cheap to repair in any case, especially not in the state of California. So, and is it believable that a young NBA player could be throwing wild parties? Yeah, definitely believable. I wouldn't doubt for a second that the landlord had cameras on the property that were showing these wild parties. So if the jury or if the court decided that, hey, these damages were caused by this NBA player, most likely it is what happened. On March 19th, the jury found, after about 2 hours of deliberations, that Harden committed fraud and directed him to pay $900,000 in punitive damages to Santopietro. The panel also found that Harden shares responsibility to the plaintiff for the $450,000 in compensatory damages with a management company and its owner, who the landlord alleged had entered a vacation rental agreement intended to benefit Harden. Santopietro sued Harden and the other parties in September of 2019. In his court papers, Harden's lawyer maintained that Santopietro was taking advantage of the tenants with the goal of extorting money from them or to get a default. And Of course, that's going to be the argument, okay? Oh, yeah, they know this is a rich basketball player. He's trying to extort money from you. And keep in mind, right? You're a landlord renting out a multi-million-dollar mansion in Beverly Hills. Most likely, you are very well-to-do as well, and you're trying to make money off of your property, but you're not trying to extort money, trying to get a big payout. You're just trying to get compensated for the damages that were done to your property. Okay, that's it. You're not trying to, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my big payday and then be living good. No. This is your business. You rent this property out on Airbnb, and you had got a lot of damages. You took a huge hit in your pocket from somebody that should be able to cover those damages, and you want your money. I would say the same thing about a tenant that makes $50,000 a year. If they trashed my property, I want my money. I want the repairs. I'm not trying to be unfair here, but every single bit of damage that you did to my place, you need to pay for. Period. Harden, 35, joined the Clippers in October of 2023, 4 months after requesting a trade from the Philadelphia 76ers. He attended Artesia High School in Lakewood and led the team to 2 CIF state titles. He is the highest scoring left-handed shooter in NBA history. And, they threw a little bit of information about him in there. He's had a long NBA career. They say he's 35 years old and he's still playing. The only reason I remember him specifically is this giant beard that he has. I'll throw his picture up on the screen. And, it's very memorable, okay? But, I don't know what his net worth is. I really don't. I don't follow the NBA that much, right? I had heard of him before, but he's not Michael Jordan, okay? I'm a little bit old school. Back when I used to watch basketball, it was Michael Jordan. And, it's unfortunate that a property owner has to go through this sort of situation with somebody like this. Now, there might be questions of, how much damage was actually done. And I'm pretty sure that the management company, the property owner, and everyone involved had an itemized list of all of the damages that were done. Pictures, everything. These are nice properties we're talking about here. This isn't a little cheap rental somewhere. This is a Beverly Hills mansion. So when they say, yes, you ruined these floors, or yeah, this very expensive piece of furniture was damaged or destroyed or whatever, right? It probably is the case that it will cost thousands upon thousands of dollars in order to fix it and replace some of the things in there. But what do you think? Okay, do you think this landlord is lying about the damages that were done by this basketball player, or do you think, like the article or the lawyers for this basketball player are suggesting, that they're just trying to extort money out of him? Go ahead and put a comment in the comment section down below.